Hard to believe we're headed into week 9 of the high school football season, the final week of the regular season, and it's time for another weekly edition of Wild Will and Uncle Chris's weekly Lake Area High School football wrap-up. And we're going to start with the Camdenton Lakers. They took their 6-1 mark on the road to play the 7-0 Yellow Jackets, one of the top teams in the state of Missouri. And what a game that was.
Yeah, it was a really good game. Camdenton had a lead in the second half, had several chances to win that game, just couldn't quite get over the hump to win that game. But it was interesting. I was reading a bunch of articles about that, especially from Springfield Press. Even though they lost, the Lakers gained a lot of respect around the state of how good they are, and they have been tabbed as one of the hardest outs in their class this year. So look out for these Lakers. They did suffer an injury. Carson Durnan got hurt. Don't know how bad that is. Hopefully he'll be able to come back. But yeah, that Camden team's going to be tough in the playoffs.
Well, here's what we're seeing. We're seeing the maturation of Cade Durnan, the senior quarterback. Lebanon came into that game shutting down everybody they had played. Camdenton's offense had no problems moving the football. As a matter of fact, in the fourth quarter, they were down 27-20. Camdenton scored, made it 27-26 on the snap to the placeholders. A bad snap, and they tried to get out of that to get to 2. And at that point in time, momentum swung back to Lebanon. They added a touchdown, and Camdenton was unable to come down. But that whole game, it was anyone's game, and that goes to show a team like Lebanon, they've blown everyone out, including Kickapoo, Camdenton's other loss. Camdenton's getting stronger in KY3 in their O-zone. Like you said, they came out and said, hey, this Camdenton team, they very well could have and probably should have won that game. Nobody wants to get them in the state playoffs because they are going to be one tough out, and I'd agree. For the Lakers, they're going to travel to Glendale to end their regular season. Glendale 4-4, a big high-powered offense historically with the mock tie-in there. Never know what's going to happen in that one, but I would think Camdenton gets their 7th win, seal up the 2 seed, which would then put them at home against either Washington or Rolla. Of course, you know what they did to Rolla earlier this year. So Camdenton probably going to get that 2 seed. Should be able to get the opening round. And as we move ahead to Osage, they were riding a 2-game win streak, Uncle C. But man, they got a tough matchup because Southern Boone this year, man, they're good.
Yeah, they are. They're 7-1 now. And they won, Southern Boone won that game over Osage handily. But in talking with Osage coach Shannon Jolly, he says, we killed ourselves. It was like 4 or 5 plays where we messed up, we turned it over, we did something. If it wasn't for those 4 or 5 plays, we were not only just in the game, we could have won that game. And he was really frustrated. Every coach would be. But you know what that tells me? If that was the case, then this Osage team can be really good too if they can put it all together. They're still really young. They've got a lot of juniors and sophomores on that team, and they're going to be really good in the years to come. They could be really good this year if they can put it all together, but they're running out of time, and they're going to have a tough first-round playoff matchup.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And for Osage, you said those 4 or 5 plays Coach Shannon Jolly alluded to, but that's what really good teams force you to do. And Southern Boone at 7-1, they are just that. For Osage, 3-5, have won 2 of their last 3. They're going to be at Lutheran South to end the season. Lutheran South 1-7. Osage could get their 4th win of the season. And it looks like, I looked at the many different options, of course, still a lot to be determined in that district for the Osage Indians, Class 4 District 5. They're currently the 5 seed of 7 teams. Warrensburg at 5-3. There's no way they're catching them. So Osage should be able to hold on to that 5 seed, and then they would travel to either Warrensburg or Jefferson City to play that first-round matchup. And like you said, Jeff City already got them early in the year, Osage a little better, but that's going to be tough any way you shake it.
Yeah, it is. That's why you want to win earlier to get a higher district seed. They're going to have to go on the road and pull off an upset, which I think they could do, but it's going to be an uphill battle.
All right, so now we move on to Versailles. How about those Tigers, Uncle C?
I tell you what, we told you this would happen. Coach Seitz is a great coach, won a state championship in Kansas. He is getting that program turned around and on track. And they, in the last few weeks, have figured out how to win. right? They've got that confidence going, and once you get that, it makes winning so much easier. They've won their last 2 games big, right? And they're starting to roll with the playoffs just around the corner. Look out for this Versailles team.
Yeah, and we're talking these last 2 games. They've won these 2 in a row. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, and 2 of those losses in there before that win streak and the one that broke up the wins. Both of those were games Versailles thought they should have won.
Yeah, they should have.
At 4-4, they've won 2 games in a row by a combined score of 73-0. They have shut out their last 2 opponents. I can't remember. I was talking with Coach Seitz. We were in a group message. So I can't remember the last time that a Versailles team had shut out consecutive opponents. I think you'd have to go back to the Bob Ramsey days in the mid-2000s, maybe before that, like 2005 or 6. 4-4, and hey, they get a 2-6 Sherwood team at home in Week 9. They could end the regular season at 5-4, and it's already set. Versailles is hosting a playoff game. Week 10, they'll be the 4 seed, and they'll host either the 5 seed Colcamp team they already beat, or they'll get midway. Now, some things will still be determined in Week 9 of the regular season, but the Tigers, 4-4, and they're hosting a district playoff game come Week 10, meaning they're going to be at Audrey J. Walton Sports Complex in Versailles 4 straight weeks. Isn't that awesome?
It is awesome. I'm so happy for Coach Seitz because he's a great guy. We love that guy. But all the Tigers fans too. So such a good fan base there to be rewarded with some wins. And don't forget, they've got a great basketball team coming up this year that might be good enough to go to state. I mean, they're really good.
And hey, some of the Tigers star players, Reese Murdoch, they didn't need a lot of plays. Coach Seitz said they ran like 28 offensive plays.
I know.
The whole game. Reese Murdoch, the junior sensation, he had 3 touches, 2 went to the house, and our guy Tyrus Ollison, he made a big play right before the half after Versailles had scored a touchdown. He ripped the ball away from the offensive player, never hit the ground. He just took it away from him, and he went all the way to the house. Reese said to me, he goes, someone needs to test Tyrus Ollison to make sure that he's human, because none of us are sure after that play. So good things going on for that program. We had Eldon Friday night. What a game that was.
Yeah.
California held on 35-33. Eldon was down 15 with about 6 minutes to go, and they had a great comeback effort that just fell short. But Eldon falls to 2-6 with the loss. They're in Class 3 District 5, and believe it or not, because they play up so much, they score a lot of points. Eldon's still the 4 seed, and they're probably going to hold on to that 4 seed. They're going to have Boonville Friday, which is going to be your game of the week on Lake TV. Boonville struggling at 1-6. Win or lose, Eldon is going to probably have that 4 seed, and they're going to get to host Buffalo, it looks like, in Week 10, and that's a team that Versailles just took care of. So who knows? Eldon could get a district win in Week 10, but man, what a game that was. Back and forth, back and forth. California came in at 5-2. Eldon had been struggling. Did you expect it to be that close?
I didn't really know what to expect from that. I think Eldon is better than what their record shows. California, I don't think, is quite as good as their record shows. They've pulled out some big wins this year. But yeah, I kind of expected it to be a tough game. I just had so much fun watching you and Mike Bissell call that game on Friday night. You guys do such an amazing job. If you guys haven't watched Lake TV Friday Night Football, you got to do that. It's just so good.
Thank you, sir, and appreciate all your help getting those ready with all of your prep and communication. But so for that game, California 6-2. You said they've had some tough wins, but got to give credit to Coach Kenny Grubb, because good teams find a way to win those close games. And there were some big turnovers. There were some big things they overcame. And so California, 6-2. They're second in Class 3 District 7. They're going to travel to Hallsville Friday night. And Hallsville, believe it or not, 4-4 on the season.
They've lost 3 in a row.
Southern, Boone, Blair Oaks, and of course Osage.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Tri-County Conference is tough, really tough. And a big game this week that most people around here won't be watching, Southern Boone and Blair Oaks. And those 2 teams, top 10 teams, are again state championship contenders this year in the same conference. It's going to be tough.
That's going to be a big one. The winner, that's going to win the Tri-County Conference, I would think, right?
Yep.
The conference on the line in that one. And so for California, they're going to get the 2 or 3 seed in their district. In Week 10, they're going to host either the 6 or 7 seed, and it'll be either Boonville, Summit Christian, or Clinton. All of those teams are 2-6 on the season. So as we wrap up, I did want to give a shout out real quick to Brooks Volkart. He was the junior running back, defensive back for the California Pintos.
Yeah.
He was our Show Me Zero player of the game. He had a couple of scores, big game on the ground, and he entered that game with 8 picks on the season defensively. Leads all of Class 3 in the state of Missouri.
Very talented. I'm really happy for California, too, the way they've bounced back, having a great season, first year for Coach Grubbs there, and doing just a fantastic job. So good job, Pintos.
Yep, so we'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching this week's edition of our High School Football Weekly Rundown. We'll be right back next week to wrap up the final regular season and week of the regular season anyway, and lay the foundation for what should be a very exciting first week of district playoffs here around the Lake area. For Uncle Chris, I'm Wild Will. Enjoy your week, my friends.